What's good, YouTube? Dmgaming here, guys, and I hope everybody had a great Christmas. The grind continues, and I have a very informative special video for y'all today. Guys, before we get into that, don't forget the live stream Q&A is tonight at 7 o'clock Central Time. That should be about 8 o'clock Eastern Time, about 5 or 6 o'clock Pacific Time. I don't know what it is overseas. You have to check on Google for that time. But, guys, before we get into all of that, guys, check out Eniba. They're an online marketplace for games. They also have PlayStation Plus, which is on sale for about 38 bucks. Regular price is 60. Might want to scoop that up. Xbox Live as well. So go check them out. Use promo code DMGaming for that extra % off. The links are down in the description box below. What's good, everybody? So let's jump straight into it, guys. This is an interview that was done by Twin Infinite back in August. Okay, back in August. It's entitled Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Interview producer discusses Banyu, Goku Experience minigames, and more by Nevela or Nelva. I'm not gonna butcher that first name. I'm not gonna do it. But anyway, the article was published on August 29th of 2019. So let's jump straight into it. Says Bandai Namco is trickling down information about its upcoming action JRPG, which just stands for Japanese role-playing game, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, at a nice clip. In order to learn more about recent reveals, Twin Infinite interviewed producer Ryosuke Hara. I'm gonna just call him Hara-san. Hara-san. At Gamescom in Cologne, Germany. Hara-san talked about a variety of topics, including mini games, the recently revealed character Banyu, and more. Now, I know, hold on. I know y'all saw Android 21 in the thumbnail. I promise you this video is not clickbait. We are going to get to that. But we are also going to go through this article because there's some good stuff here. Okay, so the interviewer asked, let's talk about the newly announced character Banyu. Can you give some background about what led her introduction? Hara-san responded, among the new elements created by Akira Toriyama himself, specifically for this game, there is a new character, Banyu. She is a former member of the Ginyu Force who left the group because she doesn't want to be a part of all that old-fashioned posing. That being said, she appears just in a subquest, not in the main story. That alone, there's a lot of information. I'm going to start off with this. We already know Banyu's in the game. We know Akira Toriyama created Banyu specifically for the game. I know, and I've told y'all that she's going to be in a subquest. She's not in the main story. Here's the way that the subquests and the main stories work. The subquests follow everything unexplored in the Dragon Ball Z lore. So all the stuff, if there's anything with Ada and them, Dragon Ball related, any references to anything that's not related to the story, it's going to be in the subquest. Banyu, all that stuff in the subquest. The story is exactly that. So for those of y'all talking about, oh, it's the same old story, you basically have two games in one. The subquests are going to tell a story that's not told by the main story. And then the main story is going to follow the main story. What's interesting here is this. Among new elements created by Akira Toriyama himself specifically for this game. Elements, that's plural. All we know of is Banyu. That's what we know of right now. If you ask me what did Akira Toriyama put into this game, I mean, aside from Dragon Ball itself, is Banyu. And we know the back lore, of course, the subquests that explore like Gohan and 16's relationship. Those kinds of things, there are a lot of things that Toriyama put into this game, guys. And that is very interesting to know. Let's continue. Okay. And that's a picture of Banyu there. So she left the Ginyu Force because of their posing. She's from the same planet as Jace of the Ginyu Force. And yeah, that's Banyu. So the interviewer asked why a member of the Ginyu Force. Hara-san replied, I actually know nothing about the background of this decision. This was suddenly suggested by Akira Toriyama sensei himself, and I don't have any information on his reasons. It gets better. So, interviewer asked, so it was Toriyama sensei's independent idea. Hara-san replied, Banyu is 100% original character created, designed, and suggested by Akira Toriyama himself. Now, so that's Banyu's background. We know that. DM, what about Android 21? Why is she in the thumbnail? I'm glad you asked. Next question they asked is, speaking of original characters, there is one who has been very successful in another video game, Android 21 from Dragon Ball Fighters. I was finna say Fighters Z. I was finna make that mistake. No, Dragon Ball Fighters. Is there any chance that she could appear in the game as well? Hara-san's answer is gold, pure gold. He says, unfortunately, I can't provide any details about this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. This means that we could potentially, and it's a very good potential, see Android 21 in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Oh, Dmgaming. Wait, he said unfortunately. That means no. Does it? Does it? See, because if you go over the many videos and interviews, whenever they have asked the interviewers questions, they have always, that if they ask them a question about something that's not in the game, they come out and say, it's not in the game. When they were asked about movie characters, they said, it's not in the game. When they was asked about costume or uniform, if it's something that's not in the game, they tell them it's not in the game. But if it's something that's in the game that is to be revealed at a later date, they always reply with that exact same answer. I cannot provide any details about this. You still don't believe me? This is an interview done by IGN, right? They're going to have gameplay showing behind it. I'm going to turn the microphone up and sit it closer to the computer so you can hear it. So if I'm loud right now, I apologize in my very white voice. But I want y'all to listen to this, okay?
Here on the side, clearly this is very much Goku's game, but the problem with so much of Z is that he's sort of out of commission. He's either traveling through space doing push-ups, or he's having a heart attack for several episodes in a row. How do you sort of account for all the times when Goku is unable to fight? Will players be taking on other characters' roles?
So what the guy asked him was basically, Goku is out of commission. And this is early on. This was done in June, okay? He asked him, when Goku's out of commission, are we going to be able to control other characters? So.
皆さんも多分知ってる通り、ドラゴンボール Z のストーリーの中では結構悟空が、宇宙のどこかで腕立てしてたり、死んでたり、いろいろと多分ストーリーから外れてしまう部分があるんで、そういった時のストーリーというかこの世界の流れはどういうふうに今演出されるのか、違うキャラクターとして経験できるのかとか。はい。
Here's his reply. He just said it in Japanese, but here's what he said in English, and listen closely.
違うキャラクターに関してはですね、ちょっと現時点では詳細をお答えできないんですけれども、ドラゴンボール Z は物語を追体験することに、とにかく注意。
Well, that was the guy asking. That was the guy translating first. Now he's giving him his answer in Japanese, and he's going to translate it in English.
努力をしているので、その点ではファンの方々をがっかりさせるようなことはないようなゲームの作りはしていきます。
In terms of can the player get behind the controller and actually play as another character, I can't reveal anything at this moment, but what
did he say? Can we back up? What did he say?
In terms of can the player get behind the controller and actually play as another character, I can't reveal anything at this moment, but
listen to what he said, y'all. In terms, he said in terms of if a character can get behind the control. See, he asked him the question, can you control other characters in the game? The guy replied, as far as getting behind the controller and controlling another character, unfortunately, I can't provide any information at this moment. Let's go back. Listen to it again.
The character, I can't reveal anything at this moment, but what?
I can't reveal anything at this moment. That sounds a lot similar to this. I can't provide any details about this. Oh, he's going to ask another question. Let's listen in. Let's listen to some more. See if we can.
What I can say is we tried to stay very, very true to the Dragon Ball Z experience. So if you picked up the manga and read it, we wanted to recreate that as accurately as possible. I don't think we're going to leave the fans disappointed.
Now, the Dragon Ball movies are in kind of a gray area. Most recently, Broly was sort of...
Okay, so those of y'all that's getting into the movies, listen to this. This is a perfect example of what I was saying earlier. Listen.
Brought into the main canon. You're clearly kind of borrowing from other parts of the timeline. Will this incorporate any elements from the movies?
ドラゴンボールの映画では結構ブロリーは一応メインストーリーの結構前の方に多分タイムラインとして置かれてはいますけど、このゲームに関していろんな違うタイムラインだったりその映画の要素をちょっと借りたり搭載するっていうようなことはあるんでしょうか。
基本的にはですね、原作、アニメであったドラゴンボール Z の物語を追体験するようなものになっています。
In terms of the movies, what I can say is this game has been Dragon Ball Z anime TV series experience.
So he asked him about the movies, and basically he told him this is the anime. It covers the anime, it doesn't cover the movies. So that's a direct no. Well, not a direct no, because the question was about elements from the movies, and we do know that Goku's Dragon Fist is in the game. See, that's a movie element. Movie characters aren't in the game, but there are some Easter eggs and elements.
ただただアニメを追体験するだけではなくて、先ほどのハッちゃんのサブストーリーみたいにくれるであろう要素をいくつか
Earlier you saw, but of course that is the foundation, and as we kind of teased a little earlier, you saw Hachan 8, the Robot 8 in action. So there are going to be a lot of elements that the very die-hard Dragon Ball Z fans can look forward to experiencing.
Great. Well, we saw during the Xbox conference the trailer kind of spoiled Frieza's fate a little bit, but everyone knows the story pretty well.
Okay, guys, so pay attention to this because it's going to go right back to what I said before. Now he's going to ask him the question of, are there going to be more sagas past the Frieza saga? Listen to what he says.
Will this go beyond the Frieza saga?
先ほどの Xbox のプレスカンファレンスで、そのフリーザのストーリーラインはちょっとネタバレになってしまった。多分みんなフリーザのストーリーは知ってると思うんですけど、フリーザサーガよりも先にこのストーリーは描かれるんでしょうか。
はい、そうですね。現時点ではそのフリーザ編、
まだ詳
細な方々が介するようなことには
なら
ないにゲームを作っている。
Here's his reply.
ありがとうございます。はい。
Well, Max, I don't want to sound like a broken record. We can't reveal that as of yet, but I think going back to what I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a very immersive and fun experience for the fans, and we promise not to let them down.
I have one final question. We saw Goku flying around like he does, but also riding on the...
Okay, so y'all heard that, okay? Try not to get my mic volume up too loud. So both times he basically answered him the exact same way. And if you go and watch all the other interviews, they're about the same way. Anytime they ask them something about the game that has to do with something that's in the game, their reply is never no. Their reply is basically this: I can't provide any details about this. So if we go by that formula, it is a sure bet that in some way, shape, form, or fashion, Android 21 is going to make an appearance in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Also, she was in Fighters, and she is an original character created by Akira Toriyama himself. Go back up to the first question, or the first answer, among new elements created by Akira Toriyama himself, specifically for this game. Okay? So that's very interesting. Expect to see Android 21, but let's continue reading, because this gets better. It gets better, I promise you. Okay. Where was we at? Unfortunately, I can't provide any details about this. And they said, you just announced the Cell Saga. Is that the end of it, or there'll be more in the game after that? And he says, Hara-san replies, this is actually one of those questions I'm asked about the most. What did he say? In the same interview, man. Unfortunately, I can't give you any details on this either. Y'all, whoo, do you see what I'm saying? Dude, it's like right here in our face, dude. It's right here. He said, unfortunately, I can't provide any details about this. Because Android 21 is going to be in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Only reason I can't say it's confirmed is because they're not officially confirming it. But if you go with the patterns all lead to the same thing. They were asked about playable characters. He said, can't provide any details. He was asked if the saga would continue past Frieza. I can't give you any details. He's asked about 21. I can't give you any details. He's asked about movie characters. No. They asked about clothing change. No. And I'll go over some of the other interviews in later videos, but let's keep reading, okay? I'm asked the most. He said, but unfortunately, I can't give you any details on this either. It's not because he doesn't have the details. It's because it's not time to reveal it. So that's another perfect example that Android 21 is more likely going to be in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Next question. Okay, do you think this game could be the beginning of a franchise, considering that the Dragon Ball saga is very long and there's likely room for several games, or you're working on Kakarot as a standalone game? Guys, huge question, huge answer. At the moment, we're thinking of it as a standalone game. What does that mean for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot? Guys, if it's a standalone game and not a franchise, that means this is going to be a one and done game. However, with that being the case, if it is a one and done game without a sequel, I told y'all about Dragon Ball Super being in the game via DLC. That means, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, this is the biggest and the best way that I can see this game working out, because I don't see them doing a sequel. I don't see how a sequel would work. Like, what would you improve on? Only thing you would probably improve on is the combat stuff. Maybe making support characters playable. But with the way that this game is structured, with DLC, they can make the support characters playable. They can add movie characters. They can continually update it with Dragon Ball Super content, as well as, well, I already said the movie characters, didn't I? Yeah. But you get what I'm saying? Look at the way that the game is structured right now. They can add all of these elements into the game via DLC and seasonal content and stuff like that. In a sense, does the game become a service? Yeah, it does. But you know what I'm saying? And that follows the pattern that they have done with Dragon Ball FighterZ as well as Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Xenoverse 2 has been out for what, 3 years now? We're on DLC pack 9 or 10 or something like that. They're continually adding content. This game could be a standalone game, and it could. If it is a standalone game, guys, I guarantee you Super's going to be in it. I guarantee you eventually they'll incorporate movie characters, because that's going to give them money, because they already have the foundation there. They don't have to make a new game. All they have to do is make additional content. And at the prices that they charge, you'll end up paying for like more than one new game. It's kind of like the Destiny 2 formula with Activision. You see what I'm saying? That is super dope. All of this information in an interview done back in August. Let's continue reading. Next question. Kakarot is developed by CyberConnect 2, which is widely known for its Naruto games. Yet for me, they're first and foremost the studio behind the Dot Hack series. Since this is an RPG, is there any Dot Hack in it? Hara-san replies, CyberConnect 2 is known for their beautiful graphics and dynamic battles with intuitive controls like those you see in the Naruto series. I think these achievements also extend to the new game. The driving license episode is often considered filler among fans of the anime. What's the reasoning behind its inclusion in the game? Hara-san replied, I actually don't think of it as filler episode. I like to see the daily life of the characters. And this is what I told y'all. They want you to live this game. It's not just something you pop in and go from boss to boss to boss to boss to boss. This is something that you put in and you experience it. You live it. You become it. Okay? I like to see the daily life of the characters. I believe that this is part of why Dragon Ball Z is attractive for the fans. One of the guidelines we're following while developing this game is something we call the Goku experience. We're thinking about how to immerse the player in the feeling of being Goku, aka living the anime. We thought driving the car would also be one of the things that can enhance the Goku experience. To achieve that, of course, you need the driving license episode. After you get the driver's license, can you keep driving the car for the rest of the game? He confirms. Exactly. After you unlock the license, you're able to drive the car around in the fields. Needless to say, it would be faster for Goku to fly. Maybe you can see it as sort of a fan service. So there are going to be some fan service stuff, and then that's in every game. Question asked, the game looks like it has some mini games. Are you perhaps thinking about implementing a mini game involving the car? That's a very good point. Actually, we're preparing something where you have to use the car. Speaking of mini games, I guess tail fishing is also part of the Goku experience. Hara-san replied, fishing was indeed already present in the original Dragon Ball, so we thought that it would be a good thing to implement because eating is certainly very important for Goku. You can collect ingredients, bring them home, cook and eat them together. We thought all of this would fit well in the game. And he asked, when the game includes fishing minigames, they include a lot of upgrades to your fishing rod, tackle, and so forth. I doubt you can upgrade Goku's tail, so how do you handle this, if at all? And Hara-san replied, this should be seen as a small mini game. We don't really have leveling up in this part of the game. So he basically saying you can level up the fishing rod and the lure and stuff, but you can't upgrade Goku's tail to catch more fish. Okay. And then they asked about the Nintendo Switch port. And guys, don't click away yet because there's a big question coming that a lot of people have been answering, including myself, that's going to be answered. Is there possibly, and this isn't it, this isn't the question. Is there a possibility for a Nintendo Switch port down the line? All I can say is that we're not thinking about adapting the game for the Nintendo Switch for now. So this is very interesting too, because he's basically telling you, no, they don't have any plans on putting it on the Nintendo Switch at this time. So see, when I tell you, when the answer to a question is no, they're going to tell you no. If it's something that's in the game or coming to the game, they say they can't reveal any details at this time. Next question. And this is not the big question. You'll know it when you read it. The game is not actually open world. So how we think about the maps, how big are they? It's difficult to put in the size, Hara-san replies, of the areas into numbers, but we're trying to give the best Goku experience to the players. We're trying to provide the feeling that at least you're free to fly around without restrictions, even though there are restrictions, and we know there are restrictions. You can have a certain feeling of freedom in each area as you fly through it as Goku. In the demo, you could play the area in which Raditz arrives on the planet. It's a very big area, and other areas are similar in scale. And then here's the big question. Speaking of demos, is there any plans to release one publicly? His answer. The demo will be available only at events like Gamescom, but we do not plan to release it online. We don't. Where's my audio? Where is it at? Where is it? That hurts, guys. That's how I feel right there, man. So, and we know that. I mean, it's 3 weeks away from release. A demo is not coming. This was back in August, and I wish I had ran across this article before, but for some reason, it slipped my eye. But I found it now, and we can confirm there is no demo. Yes. But there is other great information in this article, and that summed up the article right there, guys. So to sum it up, guys, we have a very, very high chance of seeing Android 21 in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and then also, well, that's the biggest news in all of it. You know what I'm saying? That's just huge that they would put something like that in the game. And then also their plans on making Dragon Ball Z Kakarot a standalone game, which is really cool as well. So go check out that article. I'm putting a link to it in the description box down below, guys. But I've held you for long enough. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Don't forget about the live stream tonight. Till next time, thanks for watching. Peace.